I come from a small village at the foot of Mount Hermon, Jabal al-Sheikh, called Kfair. Kfair is Zayt. Zayt means oil. And this village is very famous for its olive oils and olive fields. I left the village to come to school to Beirut. And since then, I have been living in Beirut, got married, and I live now with my husband and family here in Beirut. And my writing career is here in Beirut. Most of my writing so far is in the background of the village. My village has been the background or the area in the south.
What kind of a village is it? Is it a Christian village?
It's a mixture of Christians and Druzes, my village.
Yes.
And in the nearby, in the surrounding areas, you find villages, Christians and Muslims, Christians, Druzes and Muslim mixture of many religions. They live together, they have been living together there for hundreds of years.
Yes.
And they like each other, they are on very good terms with each other. It happens that my village is a mixture of Christians and Druzes, as I mentioned. And of course, when I write about this society, I write about both. And I try to tackle the problems of the two sects. Sometimes there are, this differentiation, especially when it comes to marriage.
Yes.
You notice this is disappearing in the cities with the more educated classes, this difference between religions or the intermarriage between the religions. But still, the village people are more conservative.
Yes.
It is very difficult to change the habits, in a short period. It takes time. There are many educated people, lawyers, doctors, engineers. Of course, they don't live in the village. Their families are there. Their land still is there, and their little homes are there. They go back to visit because it's impossible for the small village that lives on the the agricultural aspect of life to satisfy the ambition of all these educated people.
The traditional life still goes on in the village.
People stick to the tradition, but these are changing. If you go to the village now, you find girls dressed according to the most modern fashions.
Yes.
You find you talk to young people and you find them on the same harmony with the youth of the world. They are well informed what's happening around them in the world. They are aware what's happening in their country. I think there is so much change, especially after the trouble that
Yes.
our area is living in
for the last 25
for
or
the last 25 years.
Yes.
So there is so much change. Yes, I feel.
Now your village is right on the frontier area.
No, not on the first line. It is on, you can say, on the second line of the frontiers. It is about 30 kilometers from the frontiers.
Yes.
But still we are suffering, like many villages, from the bombing, from gunfire, from rockets. It has suffered like so many villages on the borders.
They fire across because
they fired rockets from planes 3 years ago, 2 years ago. It's still continuing the bombing across, from to the village and even across, 30 to 40 kilometers from the borders. And it's continuing like that. People got used to it.
Lebanon is officially not involved in any open war.
No. These are very peaceful people, landowners. Yes. And they are living there since hundreds of years. Their grandparents lived there, great-grandparents lived there. They are very peaceful. They're not harming, they're not aggressive, they're not harming anybody. But all of a sudden, they had this shooting and bombing on them.
But they are not planning to leave the village for that reason.
I don't think so. I will tell you, I'll repeat to what my father told me. I was begging him. My mother is not in the best health. She was sick lately. I asked him to come and live in a small apartment here in Beirut. And he answered me, he told me, if the roof falls on my head, I wouldn't leave my home. This is my home. Whatever happens, I'll stick to my land and to my home. They are so much in love with their land and with their homes, they wouldn't leave it for anything. Around our village, there are forests of pine trees and oak trees. You know, the oak tree has its roots. They go very deep in the land. And I feel that the people who live there are like the oak trees. You see, they have their roots very deep in the land. So it's very difficult to uproot them.